We need to talk about Lightyear, the new Toy Story movie, because this film contains content which is really concerning. Some things are just not appropriate for children, and parents should definitely consider that before taking their kids to the movies. Like the fact that the physics of this film is so confusing that I just couldn't keep up with it. How do you expect a first grader to understand that? The time-traveling storyline is probably making Chris Nolan punch his walls right now. What about the diet culture in this film? Buzz doesn't even want to celebrate his birthday with some cake and eat some weird sludge because he says it would compromise his nutritional regimen. That's not appropriate for kids. Not to speak of the franchise itself in which is set, which includes weird cults, torture and medical experiments on living beings, characters getting drunk, soldiers wounded in battle, sexual references including a nude hooker. All of this by a company which has done blackface, yellowface and all shades of racism, plagiarized content with the merchandise produced in sweatshops to then be sold in overcrowded, overpriced parks by overworked, underpaid staff. No, there is something much worse in I can't do this. No, there is something much worse in Lightyear. Something really beyond nature, how we were made to be. Something so abhorrent it's been censored, cut out, banned in certain countries. So prepare for it. Here it is. Let's unpack some things. So Lightyear is the new movie in the Toy Story saga, and it focuses on one of the most beloved characters, Buzz Lightyear. And this film is basically what Andy, the kid in the Toy Story films, watched, loved, and subsequently led him to getting the Buzz Lightyear toy for his birthday. In the movie, Buzz is on one of his big missions in space, and his best friend and commander plays an important role in introducing his character and personality, as well as setting up the actual premise to the story. As the movie focuses on time traveling and that complicated concept of when time in one place travels faster than another, and let's just say all the consequences of tampering with time. Buzz is extremely dedicated to his work to the point that he's missing out on a lot of special things in his life. It's become just work, eat, sleep, repeat. His best friend instead is moving on with her life, and while Buzz is alone in his cabin, she is seen spending time with her loved ones, celebrating important milestones, making a family, etc. And here comes the plot twist, because she makes that family, not with a man, but with another woman. Not only in a split-second scene, they actually kiss. Now that kiss is what has been making the headlines in the last month. So a while back, this incredibly sticky situation was announced, because after all it is the 21st century and you need to give people, you know, a few months heads up, you know, to get prepared to that sort of impact. And of course it didn't go well, because before people even saw the movie, they were already complaining that Disney was forcing some sort of woke gay propaganda on them and it wasn't necessary and all the usual things you can imagine. So at Disney headquarters, somebody must have thought, you know what? They're probably not ready for this. Let's just scrap it, let's cut it out. As you can imagine, that also didn't go down well, as it then appeared homophobic. So at Disney headquarters, they decided to put the scene back in again, which, as you can imagine, also didn't go down well. Months go by, the film is now released, and apparently everybody around the world is taking different approaches to it. Some countries have banned the film altogether. Some cinemas are fast forwarding through the scene. I don't know how they're doing that. Have you ever tried to fast forward through something that lasts a second? Some cinemas have been issuing warnings before screening it. In some countries it's been age restricted, and then we wonder why the box office wasn't that big. Some people just took it to social media. And in all of this, kids, the actual target of this movie, reacted to the scene probably like this.
Thought I heard one.
A robot?
Yeah.
Impressive.
And the funny thing is that although the film shows more than a kiss, because obviously these people are building a family together, they're moving on with their life together, which is something way more intricate than a simple kiss, that is not what's annoying people. It's the kiss, because that is Disney's official seal of gay things actually going on. But remember, dogs getting married in church is fine. Amen. According to these theories by which people are being really influenced by films to the point that their lives are changing, Top Gun should have people running to enlist and get into the army and go to war and potentially oh wait, that actually did happen, didn't it? But that's fine. Tom Cruise, have you seen him? He's ripped. I think that whatever your opinion on whatever topic, you should question yourself if you've reached the point in which a split-second scene from a kid's animated movie is hurting you so much to the core. Also, I'd love to see the browsing history that people complaining about Lightyear, because we know that there's a lot of scissoring going on there. I just can't deal with all the nonsense that's arisen from the... Oh, I have so much to say. Okay, so one of the main points of criticism that people have brought forward is that this scene wasn't necessary and that they just had to put somebody gay in the film. You know, the usual attitude of I'm nothing against the gay people, you know, they can do their thing as long as I don't see it, just don't shove it in my face. If that scene is considered shoving it into your face, sweetheart, you've got to give up on any movie with any sex scene in it ever. Also, the Walt Disney Company is about 100 years old. I think next year they'll be 100. Most of these films feature regular, standard, average couples, including, you know, robots, dogs, and mice. So one vague kiss in one film is not an agenda and trying to push it onto you or your kids. If your kid is gay, it wasn't because of the Lightyear kiss. I would understand the criticism if Disney had pulled a J.K. Rowling, who, after years of giving the most stereotypical descriptions of Harry Potter characters like Cho Chang and Patel and Johnson, then suddenly came out saying Hermione had always been black. Which for us fans, it's fine. It's just the way you're trying to convey it. But anyway, I would understand if Disney did a J.K. Rowling and after 100 years of releasing films suddenly changed the narrative of some of their most characters, or suddenly made nearly every character in all future movies gay. They'll never do that. Of course, times are changing. They don't have an agenda by which they're going to replace everybody with gay characters. It's called being inclusive. This is one couple in 100 years sharing one kiss. If that's considered shoving it into your face, then what isn't? If we've got to start from somewhere with including people, how can we if even this is not accepted? I mean, Luca wasn't even gay and people were saying, but it is, it's giving me the gay vibes, hide the children. It's the 21st century. Of course, films are going to start including concepts which wouldn't have been considered back in the time. Of course, kids are going to have questions. We've always had them. And of course, it's time to start talking about it. Whatever your opinion on the topic, do you really think the best solution is just not showing them anything? Or are you scared that your children might realise that gay people can actually be happy and that they're normal? Haven't we learned that repressing can lead to worse outcomes? Now, I think we all knew that certain countries would have never accepted this. I'm not going to be naive to the point of thinking that in countries where there's the death penalty for being gay, people will have just allowed their kids to watch a film with a gay kiss in it. Those are situations with much more serious issues going on than the Lightyear film being banned or not. But I'm speaking to theoretically more open-minded countries. What's wrong? We have reached a point in which love stories with mice and bees are considered more normal. I mean, if you really want to criticize Lightyear, go for it. There's a lot more than the kiss to criticize in this film, such as the fact that compared to the usual Pixar standards, this is a pretty mediocre story. It isn't an awful movie, but the stories they have created in the past are on a whole different level. Just think of WALL-E, Soul, Coco, Inside Out. I mean, even the original Toy Story movies, whereas Lightyear felt much more like a Disney Plus special animation episode to get some more sales going on. I read a comment talking about the rewatch value of Pixar movies, which is usually very high. You'll easily choose to rewatch Ratatouille or The Incredibles, Monsters, but would you really rewatch Lightyear? Also, is this the start of more Toy Story spin-off movies? Will there be one about Woody? Who knows? I want to know what you guys think about all of this topic, so make sure to leave a comment down below with your thoughts. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.